All right. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Hi, Douglas. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate being here.
I just noticed your T-shirt. That's very cool. That's great.
Yeah, I've got a few different kind of shirts, but I sell books at a local market 2 days a week. So I sign and sell books and write while I'm there, and I have this on just to kind of help people realize that I'm the author.
Well, and it's also good advertising for your website too. So that
Oh, for
always
sure.
helps. Yeah. So you are in Ontario, is that correct?
That's correct. Ontario, Canada. Yeah.
Not to go off topic here, but has the truck convoy gone through where you are?
It went through here a couple of weeks ago, and it's now up in our capital city of Ottawa, which is probably a 5 to 6 hour drive from where I live, depending on what Toronto traffic does to you. So it's far removed from where we are, but we still get small people, smaller gatherings around our cities as well.
Well, this thing is making international news, so and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but it is a pretty phenomenal event for Canada just because you don't hear about Canada that much. Even in the United States, we don't get a lot of big news from Canada, but this thing is monstrous in terms of news priority.
Yeah, for sure. Canada's like the polite nation. We're the ones that always apologize for everything, and so yeah, for something like that to happen in our nation's capital is certainly newsworthy.
Oh, definitely. So you've got a book you're promoting or a book series?
Yep, that's correct. It's called The Highcliffe Guardians, and I'm presently writing actually book three. I'm about 85,000 words into book three. Yeah, but the book we're talking about today would probably be book one, which is The Keeper of the Jewel.
Now, are all the pictures on your wall behind you, are those relevant to your books?
There's about 65 pictures behind me. You can't see them all. Most of them are interior pictures. So when I first started reading, I fell in love with reading when I read Franklin Dixon's Hardy Boy series, and he always had penciled in drawings in his books. And when I started writing, I was 9, and I started penciling in pictures of my books as well. But with the advent of the computer and access to all these fantabulous or fantastic artists around the world, I'm taking advantage of their talents, and I'm putting a few interior pictures in all of my books as well.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask, if some of those were actually in the book. Yeah.
They're definitely in the book. There's about 4 or 5 pictures in each book. In print books, obviously they're black and white because it costs too much for me as a independently published author to pay for a whole book with color print. So, but on the ebooks, they're all in full color.
So have you been a writer your whole life, or no? Your bio says you were a police officer?
I was a special constable. So up in Canada, that's almost like a court bailiff down in the US. So I looked after the court systems for 12 years. Before then, I worked as a shipper in a local bakery for 22 years. So as much as I've written since I was 9 years old, I've never actually published a book until late 2017. I published a couple small novellas just so I could sink my teeth into learning Amazon and how to make mistakes on Amazon and get myself all prepared for August of 2018 when the book that I started writing when I was 17, I finally finished it and was able to publish it. And it is my book, baby. Soul Forge came out in August 2018, and I've been writing ever since full time.
So this was an endeavor that you kind of took up after you retired from work?
Yeah, working in the police service is not a job for me. The stress involved there is it was going to probably end my life sooner uh, than it naturally would have ended. So, with the help of my wife, I was able to leave the police service and write full time. So, in 2017, I made the break from the corporate world, and now I work in my office, and I've been able to write full time, which is amazing. I look forward to Mondays now.
Oh, well, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. I think people should always pursue their passions rather than
Hmm.
working in a job just to survive and pay the bills, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It was actually an epiphany moment early in 2017. I was out on the road and I had to deliver. It was a subpoena, so there was really no worries when I was going to a residence. I'm in full uniform. Dispatch knows where I am. I always take a look at who I'm going to be speaking to, and it was a lady who was 70 years old, and I'm looking at the subpoena in my hand. I go, wow, that's 70 isn't too far away from me, and I'm thinking, what have I done? I've always wanted to be a writer, and I'm getting up there in age. I was 51 at the time. I've only got 19 more years before I'm 70, so I need to do something about that because, as we all know, life isn't a dress rehearsal. You don't get to come back and do it again. and learn from your mistakes. So we took the leap of faith, and I left my job in the police service and started writing full time.
This book series is what genre is it?
Epic fantasy.
Okay, explain what that is.
So epic fantasy is not of our world. So I build my own worlds. It has nothing to do with Earth. There's a lot of magic in it. So there's a lot of world building, magic systems involved, and there's elves and dwarves and typical Tolkien-esque type worlds.
Okay, so this is Lord of the Rings-ish.
Definitely. People ask me what my books are like. I always say they're like Lord of the Rings or the Wheel of Time, and then I give them the proviso that don't expect my books to be up to that level as the master fantasy writers. But that's how I gear my books. They're all quest-driven fantasies about people going across different lands and looking for different talismans and stuff to solve whatever issue they have.
So what is your process for writing? How do you inspire yourself to come up with new ideas for your book? Do they just pop into your head?
Yeah, I'll never run out of books to write. I've got about 35 books in my head that I want to write in the Soulforge universe. All my books are written in trilogies, so each trilogy stands on its own, but they're all part of an overarching storyline that takes place over a couple thousand years. And I find that every time I write a book, I generally get two more in my head, so I'm never going to run out of ideas. But as far as inspiration, there are days when I'm just not feeling it, and even though I write full time, there are days that I don't write a word. But I'll have it go for a walk, I'll have a shower, and just allow my mind to just to be at ease, and all of a sudden the ideas will just start coming back in. And I'll be halfway through my shower, and I gotta quickly get out of there, dry off, and get to my computer so I don't lose my train of thought.
Did you ever pursue traditional publishing, or did you just decide that you were going to be a self-published author?
When I was started writing, obviously we didn't have Amazon and everything else at the time, so we had the big five, and I never even thought about being a published author. But in 2017, I did pursue an agent. I got an agent. She asked for the first 50 pages, and after a bit of a runaround, she asked for the rest of the manuscript, and I thought it was good. And then again, there's a bit of a runaround in the background, and finally I just said, the heck with it, I'm going to do it myself. So I went ahead and got myself a professional editor who's in Glasgow, Scotland. The internet's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And she really whipped my first book into shape, and I haven't looked back.
Have you gotten any good reviews or bad reviews on your book?
I've gotten one-star review, and that was devastating. Mostly my reviews are 5-star reviews. I get the odd 4, a couple 3s, but reviews are very hard to come by. It's like trying to spot a unicorn for an independent author. I'll bang on social media that please leave a review. It means so much to us, and people just don't take the time to do so. So I do have some reviews. I don't generally go through the traditional way that a lot of authors will garner reviews. I hope that my reviews come just independently from readers who like my books. But like I say, it's very hard to get reviews. The most reviews I have on a book is, I think it's less than 50 for Eureka's Flight.
Well, the reason I ask is because as an independent author, it's difficult to find feedback for your work.
Yes.
And I don't think that any self-respecting author critiques himself with any value. I mean, you can think you wrote something really wonderful, or you can think something is really terrible, but you're a very biased opinion of your work. To get a non-biased opinion, you need the reviews, or you need somebody to actually formally kind of critique your work, particularly when you're starting out, when you're right out of the gate. Did you have anybody that looked at your work? Did you give it to your wife to read, or?
Well, it's funny you ask that. My wife does not like fantasy at all, but she's one of my beta readers. And the great thing about that is that because she doesn't like fantasy, she can just get into the story itself and the character development and that. And she offers a lot of good information as far as letting me know what needs to change, what I should take out, what I should maybe put in. And I think the biggest review I got was, it's not even on, you won't see it on social media or Amazon or anything else, was from her when she said she actually loved Eureka's Flight, which is the series that takes place after the High Cliff Guardians. And she said she just fell in love with the character. So when I heard her say that, I knew I had something decent.
So you're going to continue to do this for forever and ever? Yeah, you said you had a lot of books in your head, yeah?
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll ever retire per se. We're still trying to make a living at it, which haven't quite accomplished that yet. But it's just a matter of time. I think, believe in yourself, and hopefully someday the world will follow. And it's just a matter of getting myself out there and get myself known. So doing shows like this, and I'm thankful for being on here, is just another vehicle to get my name known. So, once you hear about Richard H. Stevens 4, 5, 6 times, people will start, who the heck is that guy? And they'll maybe look into me a little bit more.
Well, that's the way to do it. You just got to get yourself on as many shows as possible.
Hmm.
Keep on social media. Do social media? Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is, she's awesome with that. She looks after a large firm in Canada with regards to social media. So she helps look after my social media as well.
Oh, perfect. You got a professional social media manager.
No, she
Yeah.
does a great job. Yeah, I leave it to her.
All right, Richard. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. We do have to wind this down. Your website is right on your chest there, richardhstevens.com.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. And the latest book is called.
The latest book is called Windwalker. It'll be out in June. I just released Dragon Sect, which is book 2 in the High Cliff Guardians, in November. So Windwalker will come out in June. We don't have a set date yet, but that's the planned date for it.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show, and best of luck with